Most architects know we are designing in an arid climate. Water is a part of this design element. Its absence is what we're trying to design around. I'm Enrique Vivoni. I'm a professor of hydrology at Arizona State University. We're doing a terrible job of thinking about water as a resource that needs to be used multiple times, that needs to be recycled. So where does the water go? Well, the water is treated and may go into a river feature like the Salt River, and then it's lost from the system. So how do we reconceptualize our place while thinking about how to reuse and recycle water more efficiently?
An important thing for architects to think about is the range of possibilities in thinking about how to infuse water into their projects. Hi, I'm Brian Farling. I'm Principal at Jones Studio Architects. I think a great example of some of the best architecture in this place responds to sun in poetic and powerful ways, in the way that it cradles a building and keeps it cool while letting sunlight in. If we can think of water in that same manner, when it rains, the way it moves around a site, our connection to gardens, our connection to water in gardens, all of those things, I think, are critical pieces of making great architecture and making great places for this desert environment that we're all part of.
What we as a firm try to do is take every drop of water that can be collected on a site. My name is Michelle Sheeler, and I am a partner and principal at Colwell Sheeler Landscape Architecture. We approach the team, whether it's the MEP or the architect, and say, hey, we want to collect all the condensate water for this project, or we want to add bioswales along the street so we can collect the street water to actually produce this really beautiful garden space along the street and in the courtyards.
50% of our water use goes outdoors to irrigate our landscapes. We have to think about how to design cities in order to reduce this impact. And that means going back in history to other dry lands that have done this well, adopting some of those ideas, modernizing those ideas, cultivating them here in Arizona, and then exporting them to the world. Because this is a global issue. All cities will have this problem, not just our cities.
We want to also educate the public. How can we tell a story, a narrative about water here? We don't get a lot of it, we get 8 inches. How did the Native Americans and indigenous people deal with water? And how can we bring those kind of elements into our design in a very modern way? The ENR2 project down at U of A, it's 5 stories of overstructured gardens. And how can we be creative and show a student how water moves through a building? And so what we did was we created these little moments where the deck was draining and we had a rain chain, and then it would fall into the next floor. So you have 5 stories of these little waterfalls.
So my favorite project in the office right now is the Water Education Center for the Central Arizona project. The CAP is the canal system, 336 miles of canal that pumps water up from the valley, up from the river, Colorado River, up into the deserts and all the way to Tucson. And that system of water brings somewhere between 50 and 70% of the water that we use in the central portions of the state. This endeavor to educate people and to create a public face is really a sort of a powerful example of water consciousness, of connecting the public to our water. It will have exhibits that talk about the history, the making of the canal, what the canal does, and the importance of it in living here in the desert.
There are tools out there that can help us make these systems more optimal, where they function as they're supposed to function. They have the form that we want them to have, but they're also conserving water. That message is really hard to communicate outside of the academic community. And I think it's because we don't have a good partnership between the research happening at universities and the practitioners. And if we're able to join those 2 communities through communication, we can make an impact. We could have the same outdoor environment with less water use.